I do.
You had it quite a while.
Yeah, I
It's
been for the money I paid for it. It's been
every other month.
oh gosh, oh my God. Comparably,
Yeah, every week.
I paid half of what you buy a junkyard. I've done so much with that track, especially when we first moved in. Holy moly, I have used the heck out of it.
How big a track?
For 6 months. Right in there, right, perfect. I don't really farm, but I could.
Oh, yeah, you could.
But I got enough juice to lift paper.
Okay.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, as we come before you this time, and associates and I join together asking that you make full and complete our dedication to the service of the people here and our fellow citizens that have selected us to the positions we now hold. Just now, I ask you give these elected officials the power to discern right from wrong and to allow our words and actions to be governed accordingly, realizing now that we represent not just the party of which we are affiliated with, but accountable to all the people as a whole. Also, we ask that our decisions are within the laws of this state and the nation in which we live. May the spirit of cooperation be present and be under the concepts of our Constitution that allows differing opinions to be expressed so that in the end all may work for the good of our country so that your glory is magnified. In the name of Jesus, we bring these concerns to you. Amen.
Amen.
And pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, John. Okay, I'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Clifton,
Here,
Fitch, here, Stansel, here.
and all present. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign. Motion carries. Is there any public comment this morning? So raise your hand, I'll call you forward. Seeing none, our first presentation is town letters of MCDG.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. So, the report period is from April 17th to May 12th. Running through the report here quickly, we've referred some folks to Small Business Development Center, kind of 2 or 3 of them this last month. People have the nub of an idea, but they need to get it smoothed out before they go talk to a banker or anybody else, really. We closed Madison County Development Group revolving loan fund on May 1 for business here locally. We also have worked on 2 or 3 revolving loan fund deals for Farmers REC, and those appear to be going pretty well. Went to the CCOG May building, or excuse me, April and May meeting, May. We had the Greater Madison County Community Foundation grant decision meeting, and those checks have been distributed now. $135,000 went out to a variety of nonprofit concerns here in Madison County. One of the things that we did this year is we're setting up, and we don't have the final wording done in the foundation sub-account, but we're trying to get a fund set up for cemetery, not maintenance, but repair and that kind of thing. We've been doing some grants on and off for cemeteries, and we thought, wouldn't it just be better? So we're setting up a challenge fund like public radio, where you throw in $1, we've set some money aside, and we'll match it and set up that fund. So we've got, for this first year, we set about $8,000 aside. And so when we get our final wording done, then we'll go out and let folks know, and then we can set up an account. And that will allow those maintenance projects to go on during the year instead of just one time a year as we do our grants. So that, we thought that made pretty good sense, and there'll be a committee that works on that, and we're working on the wording for the fund itself now.
Will that open up additional grants since they'll be matching?
Well, when we are ready to set up for the funding, yes. I mean, when we get our matches in, then we would go ahead and do grants, yeah. Because there's a lot of need out there. I mean, the grass gets mowed, but we hear a lot about fences and volunteer trees and a lot of the things that they're just not budgeted for. So we think that'll be a good thing for the folks. And Madison County has, what, 60-some cemeteries? It's a wild number. So we think it'll be a good thing.
Is this
Do you
just,
work-
I'm sorry. Is this just for repair, maintenance, or are we looking to kind of repair like damaged headstones?
Well, some of that can be in there, sure. I mean, it's not a limitation. It's a bit discouraging when you go to some of the folks from before 1900. The earth has settled a lot of times, pre-vault days, I suspect. So the soil is settled, and then the tombstone topples over. And of course, that eventually gets swallowed up by the grass and then the soil. So yeah, that would be part of that effort. There are a few people that know how to do that in the appropriate way here. So it seems like it'd be a good fit. The materials on those things really aren't that bad. They just need to get it
A little labor and
put
expertise.
put involved.
Are you partnering with historic preservation like Colleen Peterson? Because they do all that and they have funding.
We,
And then she gets the help to reset these stones and repair the stones and.
well, honestly, we have a couple people with interest on the board too, and I suspect that their funding is somewhat limited as well. But yeah, I mean, historic preservation, Ryan Markhart's been our main contact, and he's the one that's working on the wording and the match type thing. So I mean, we're,
Reach out.
Good way to leverage all those dollars.
yeah, absolutely. One last thing is we have completed our disaster recovery fund expenditures. We sent out the last checks here in this time period, right around the 1st of May. So from cash, there were 79 grants made for $528,000 and a few dollars. And then from Amazon, it'd be about $28,000. So that turns out to be just over, or just under, excuse me, $560,000. So that's wrapped up now. And
That's amazing. Thank you for being
well, you're welcome. And it was a labor of love for all of us involved, and wouldn't have happened without the generous donations of locals, people from all across the country, and corporations as well. So that would be my report unless there were some questions.
Thank you, Tom.
See you later.
Thank you.
All right, Brady's on vacation, so Jason's going to give us the ambulance director report, correct?
Sure.
All right, come on up.
I don't know what he usually tells you, but
Calls
left
and
me a
everything
report,
early in the
so-
last
Calls
month.
and help.
yeah. It's been about average for busy. We had 102 calls in May. The majority of the calls, Winterset proper, Earl. Other than that, staffing, we're going to be losing one of our full-time guys, going to Clive. And we've lost some of our part-time people. They moved to Missouri, chose to move on, one's going to PA school. So we're down, short-staffed. We've got a hiring process right now open for full-time, and we just completed the part-time, just finishing the process to get them through everything through HR and get them orientated and get them built. We've got one ambulance that's down right now, so we're down to 2 ambulances, so we don't have a backup. Yep, it's at Bell Transmission right now. It had a blowout of antifreeze hose, is my understanding, after a call the other day. So they got back, it was parked in the ambulance station, and antifreeze all over. So that's getting looked at right now. Been keeping Brady in the loop on that, talk to him pretty much every day. So other than that, that's pretty much, unless you've got anything else.
Any questions for Jason?
No, thanks,
Okay,
Jason.
thanks, sir.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, we have a lot of resolutions today. Unfortunately, I don't think I can bundle a lot of them. I can bundle the first two, I believe. They're hiring resolutions for EMS for Chelsea Enders and Shelby Davis. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is the EMS resolution approving wage increases per union contract effective July 1. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next EMS resolution is approving part-time hourly employee wage change. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Public health resolution appointing Anna Keller as a PRN effective June 19th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Sorry, I'll give it to you.
Okay, Diane with the motion,
I
Heather with
don't
the second.
care.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is the sheriff's resolution approving Madison County Sheriff's Office wages effective July 1. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We have a sheriff's resolution for longevity increases per union contract. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, supervisor resolution approving decommission or dispose of items on the second floor of the courthouse. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Heather. Diane, these are the items that clerk of court want to get rid of, is that right?
Yeah, the court wants us to get rid of it all. They also want to be rid of, and I reached out to the landfill, and they came up and they're going to take most everything.
Good.
Even a copier, we don't know if it works, but they're gonna try. So they're going to, most everything will just go right out there.
So is it can't be
It's,
repurposed?
oh, they're gonna repurpose it. They're gonna use it in their
They're gonna use it in
office.
their
Oh.
It's not going to the
Oh, okay,
pit,
okay.
it's going to be.
Yeah, you should be a little more specific.
I
It's going
should
into
have.
building, not in
No, it's not going to the cell, it's going
Okay.
into the office. They're going to take most everything.
Oh, good.
I did decommission because court systems, there is a long table with a bunch of wooden chairs. Chip and I think we're going to leave those in that empty jury room and set them back up. Then if they insist, then we'll give them away. But at this point, we didn't want that room to be empty because it gets full of court junk.
Okay.
So,
All right, very good. If there's no further discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is supervisor's resolution approving change request 27 for tuck pointing the basement walls and ceiling below the south portico slab, $15,615.60. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion?
Diane, is this, in your discussions with them, will this take care of all the issues, or is this just going to address immediate issues?
I got the stonemasons in there yesterday and asked them to come down and they don't feel that there's new cracking. He's a long-time mason, 30-year mason. He did not feel that that's any new cracking. He doesn't feel that there's any weight over that because that's a stair. He doesn't feel there's any weight or pressure coming from the ramp. That's what he felt. He said it's really important that they use the right kind of grout, which I know they have not done before.
So I knew that the weight wasn't coming from the ramp, because it's technically separate. The additional concrete that we poured to level,
He doesn't
That
think,
top,
he
you
said
think?
no. He said no, and I have to rely on him, he's the expert on it. But he, yeah, he thought it was, and I asked him, do you think if we rebid it, could we get a cheaper price? He said, probably not. And they're there, and they're bonded and insured, and so I'll just let it go.
Okay.
There's no other discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is a resolution approving setting a public hearing date for Tuesday, June 27th at 10 a.m. for amending our fiscal 23 budget. Is there a motion to approve?
So
Motion by Diane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Heather. Any further discussion?
This is our final, and then to.
You better. Gonna have to be.
Okay.
There's no other discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Next is supervisor resolution approving salary and wage adjustments for non-union and union employees effective July 1. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane. Is there a second?
I have a question. Is it, the union employees are for, those the courthouse union? I thought we separate those. Do union contracts.
It was the,
They're all listed on the resolution.
Right. But in the past, we've done, all the union contracts separate from that.
Pandemic.
this is the
Because they're
union.
contract versus non-contract. And I don't know, I know there's not a lot of courthouse, union employees, and I don't know offhand which one on this list are. So, because we've done all the other union contracts separate, I think we should do that separate as well.
Shall I give anything you want to add to that?
Can you hear me?
I can. It's kind of quiet, but I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the same resolution that we do every single year for the courthouse deputies and the non-union employees. So it's always been the union and non-union every year. So this is not a new format.
Okay. How many union, can you tell me how many union employees are on this?
Yep, we can pull it up. Anybody that's a deputy, the second deputy is in the union. Sorry, I just had the agenda up, I didn't have this resolution. Let's see. So the only ones that are union on this would be Emily Reedburn and Angelina Day, under
Okay,
the second deputies receiving longevity.
okay, okay, thank you.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? I will second that. Any further discussion?
I just want to say that, I will be voting no against this because, of the fact that the public spoke clearly about not wanting the raises that we gave them. So, with the exception of 2 employees which are under union contract, I have no issue with those. Since the majority of them are non-union, I will not be voting in favor.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. I'm going to table item L.
Diane, do you know when they'll have that resolved for?
Oh, I think he's working on it now. He and the contractors.
We'll discuss that further Tuesday at our
Yes,
construction
and
meeting.
I know we've been
Do you want me to, do
anxiously waiting for that to be.
you want me to put it as a resolution and next Tuesday? If you can get it done?
If they have a new number that they feel comfortable with, we
All right.
can do that. Unless Sarah knows, because then we'd have to have.
Because
it
we've
be a
been
regular
talking
meeting.
about it
We've
forever.
been talking about this last fall.
I know, I thought.
And they
that
just
was-
haven't got it.
I thought that was a done deal. I was surprised to
Yeah.
hear you
I know.
doing it table.
Yeah.
All right, item M, appointing Michelle Brandt as part-time board clerk at $16 an hour effective Monday. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. Resolution approving longevity increases for union contract employees. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. We have approving salary wage rate adjustments for non-union employees at secondary roads effective July 1. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have secondary roads approving wage adjustments for union contract employees effective July 1. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next secondary roads resolution is approving Joshua Miller to be appointed as an unpaid engineering intern effective August 23rd. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? Mike, will that be like an MOC type of a thing?
Yeah, similar,
You know,
similar
during
deal.
school day, or?
Yeah, except in this situation, instead of paying him, he's receiving course credit
Okay.
for the hours he spent.
College course or high school?
I think right now it's high school. The school is working on maybe college, if that's their end of the process.
Okay, great, thanks, Mike. There's no further discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have a quick question on that. Is that, how we do insurance?
There is no insurance. He's
No, I mean, not medical, I'm saying like liability.
liability, yeah, I mean, we cover, he actually the paperwork and, that we've got signed holds us harmless clause, so he's like a volunteer.
Okay.
So it's yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, and then the other thing too is, like, we don't put him in situations that, not gonna stick him on a bulldozer.
Okay.
But he'd like that.
He would love it, he would love it. Try to, yeah.
All right, next resolution is approving wage increase for Cassie Hatfield, effective June 16th due to the end of the probationary period. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna bundle the next 5 together, which are temporary road closings for culvert replacement. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed? Motion carries.
A lot of these are done.
Done, yeah, that's right.
But it's by, we have to approve
We
it.
have to go.
Mike has the authority, we give Mike the authority every year to do this, but he has to.
Yeah, it's part of the code that helps the county stay, hold harmless, that we went through the process to say the road was closed.
And I
and then
appreciate the
reopen.
update, knowing what's going on.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
All right, the final one is approving listed stale checks to be voided by the Madison County Treasurer, because they're older than 1 year, and I misspoke earlier, I thought there were names on there, but there were not, but you can kind of
That's
see
why I
they're,
was kind of-
they're fairly small.
They're small, so probably refunds or something like that.
I don't understand people, but my job, I guess.
They put it in their pocket and washed it and forgot it.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have an application for a temporary liquor and wine license for June 15th through the 20th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion?
Interesting name.
If there's not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have another temporary permit from July 6th to July 11th, same applicant. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane.
Is this
there-
the same one?
Different,
Oh,
same.
different dates.
Different dates.
Got it. So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye. I'm sorry, I'm in favor.
Aye, for the favor, no
I do
opposed?
have a question. Why can't they bundle those? Were they separate applications? Because they really?
Yes, so,
They're temp-
the ABD online application, they have to apply for each temporary license.
Oh.
So they're two different licenses, you could deny one and approve another,
Oh, so
which
they
is why
can-
there's two applications.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, gets us on to board member reports. Everything you wish to report on since our last meeting?
Yeah, Iowa Workforce, we had a huge meeting regarding, the, changes going on. There is, I asked for information from them and I haven't gotten it yet, or I haven't gotten it fully yet. But there are some challenges to funds that were spent in audit by one of the subcontractors that, they're trying to determine if we are even liable. So it's about $68,000, so there was a long discussion about that.
Is that in your district?
In our district, yes, central district. So, apparently there was an audit and they couldn't account for, the funds were spent, but they couldn't account if they were spent correctly. So we're waiting for some more information. Attorneys have been engaged. So, right now we're kind of at a standstill, but I wanted to make people aware that depending on how they decide and how some scoring may take months to determine, may take longer, I don't know. But, needless to say, the central region folks, all counties are not happy with this. So we believe that they were spent appropriately based on the documentation provided. The outside entities are questioning, the feds are questioning. So that's where we're at. We had a couple meetings on that. We had an NPO meeting. I met with a couple more website companies, and plus I was gone, so in Virginia, so now I understand.
Megan, do you have anything to report on?
We're meeting every month with CCOG because we're rewriting policy and bylaws, and so we're meeting every month. They are about at the end of their state part of the audit. Their Fed audit is done, but it's the state audit that is just, should come out maybe today, what they have done. I took all the, so the public knows, I reached out to little kids in school and asked them if they would draw pictures of what they love about Madison County and write stories. And all the third graders in Winterset Public School and the Christian Academy School participated. So I took them home and laminated them and then compiled all the cute things they said and put that as a back cover and put 50 blank pages of it and turned it into a journal. They're all at the library, and so the parents or grandparents can go in there and give a suggested donation for those journals. And I'd like to request, if you two don't care later, if the Friends of the Courthouse could maybe get a little plaque that one of the windows was helped paid for by the class of 2032. These little kids, they are so proud of themselves that they think they bought a window. So that's all at the library. I've been still working, I'm hounding Homeland Security. I want that $1 million forgiven. It sounds like they're going to make us pay 5 $50,000 payments and then forgive the rest. So we'll take it. Because as I reported to you before, they don't know how to administer it because they've never done it before. And I keep saying just write the check, but they don't think that's funny.
So you'll repay 250 of the million?
I have no problem writing other checks,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
I'm okay, yeah. So I'm gonna keep hounding them and working with them, and they're okay with that. And I did find that they did table it because they don't know how to administer. It passed, but then it tabled to the Senate. Mike and I are working with the landfill. When they do culverts, he informed me that it used to be people would just haul away all the trees they have to cut down. Now we have to haul them away, and that's really expensive. So the landfill has said if we mulch it, they'll use it for cover, which they can, and then we don't have to pay any tipping fees. And what was that, about over $10,000 a
It
summer?
can be, some of those trees get large, it's going to be an ongoing project to try to figure out how to get that stored, transported over there, but yeah, I think in the long run it would be well, first of all, better use of the environment, because it's, instead of just burying a tree. Second of all, hopefully keep our tipping fees down.
Do you have a chipper that can handle that?
We don't have a chipper right now. It's
I
just
was-
working through that
Yeah.
phase of it, either leasing, renting, hiring somebody, contracting for a pile to be chipped once a
And
year.
$10,000 in
Something
shipping fees, you could pay for a chipper.
that.
You could.
Yeah, yeah, it's just, this is in the concept phase right now.
It is.
But, as Diane said, most people don't necessarily want some of that second, third growth type trees that are in the area. So years ago, people take them, but that's being less and less.
I also asked the landfill if they would take the trees whole in swap of maybe us hauling rock once a year or something. They are going to discuss that as a board, if they would take the trees and swap out so there's no,
Yeah,
so we don't have tipping.
we would have
fees.
to enter into some sort
Yeah,
of
we're
agreement
MOU,
and,
yeah.
but again, it's
It's
in the
what we're
planning
working
phase.
on, yeah.
Excellent. Anything
For the
else?
horse
Diane?
trading.
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
Anything else, Diane?
No, no.
I'd mentioned this prior meeting, and it's kind of coming to a head. I had a CICS meeting since we last met. The state is restructuring the boards to the mental health regions, adding some people to it. One of the biggest changes of it is that county supervisors can't make up more than 49% of the makeup of the board, since the money's no longer being generated from local county property taxes. They're kind of feeling that way. So we're having to redesign our executive board. There's 2080 draft getting passed here, and I can forward the draft to you. But at our meeting in June, we'll be looking to approve that. And it'll kind of be a rotating basis of who will sit on that board as a voting member. Right now, Madison County, and I don't remember if I'm on for a 2-year term or 3 years, kind of staggered. And the county can serve for up to 2 3-year terms. And then after somebody else steps in. We'll continue to be represented on that board moving forward, at least for the interim period. The counties that are each part
Good
of
song.
the governing board that meets on generally a monthly basis will have quarterly update meetings is kind of the plan on that. I mean, that's not gonna be part of the 2080, that's just kind of part of what it'll be to keep everybody in the loop, which is kind of important because, let's say, I'm on the board for the next 3 years and then I step down and somebody completely different from a different county comes in. Kind of nice if they had a little bit of background in it. That's, in theory, that's what we're planning to do, but the reality is when you're not a voting member, how vested are you in that participation?
Are the counties losing some say in this? Is it-
Absolutely they are.
Absolutely, just like
Well,
all these
you know,
boards.
there's the region will still have a say in it, but they're bringing in different people to be represented on that board.
And they won't have the regions won't have a majority vote now, right?
They, but it might
They
just
will.
by, well, the region will
Said
still,
49.
the region will have the vote, but the supervisors won't.
Oh,
They
okay.
The
supervise.
supervisors won't be able to control it, because previously it was mostly supervisors and a handful of other
Right.
representatives. Well, let's swing it. So,
You going back to yours, do you feel like the discrepancy they're finding, they really want this to be district, they don't want any power, they want it to be centralized.
Well, the burn in the bonnet, so to speak, is the fact that they want us to do all this oversight, but yet we don't have enough funds to provide it at the region level, which is ideal. So, but yet, if there's a mistake made, we are held liable as counties, as our county taxpayers are held liable, which there's not a lot of give and take with the current structure. So I totally don't blame those counties that are pulling out. In fact, some of the conversation at Central, because right now Central is still very stable. There's no interest in pulling out and going to having the state take over. But with this new finding from the audit, people are now starting to question, like, you know what, this is for the birds. You want us to do all this, but yet you give us no help, you give us no backup,
Yeah.
you give us no expertise, and we have, supervisors on all these boards, and we have to entrust people that we hire to do the job. and yet you turn around and then you hold our taxpayers accountable. So it's like you are creating us up to fail.
Or strip your power, yeah.
So, you know, he sent me, I just realized he sent me an update on that yesterday. So I'll forward that to you, kind of get Eric, who's the executive director for our region, get a breakdown of all the issues, so I'll forward that to you. But depending on how this goes, we may have people in such a region that will come and remove it to the city. And at this point, to your point, I'm wondering if it's intentional.
Well, the fifth judicial is they've stripped all boards of that, and so now it's all under the Department of Corrections, and I think that's a disaster.
I don't see that happening so much in the mental health regions, but
I
what we do
hope not.
have is, our region is about the right size and is operating, I think, like they intended them to. And then you have some regions that have been basically, they weren't operating very good, so we pick, you know, a few people have come to ours, and a few people have come to others and whatnot, so then you get, I think there's one region that's down to like 3 counties right now, which Polk is one of its own, which that makes sense, I guess, but some of the other
Plus
ones that are
yours-
getting down to 3, and they're 3, you know, kind of smaller counties, that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
But do your guys, those 2 boards, do the feds come in and do audits like we do with our highway workforce?
Feds don't, we have to have a state audit
The
every
state,
year.
yeah, this is the feds.
See, that's interesting.
So, yeah. So, you know, I wish I had more information, kind of understanding again, there's a history and a background here that I don't have, you may have it because you were on before me, but there's a history and background here that there's a lot of anger.
There is. I attended the first, right after CTEC scandal, that was one of my first boards, and there is a lot of really angry,
And they mentioned CTAC and I was called.
yes.
I don't see the mental health being that so much other than the fact that it was all funded by local county property taxes, which makes sense that the supervisor should have the say in how
Yes.
those dollars are spent. Well,
Yes.
now that the state's funding it, they're saying, maybe the supervisor shouldn't have complete say in it, but we're still involved in it. And then a lot of the other people
Taxpayers.
are gonna be like lay people that are, or people that are maybe involved in the mental health administration. So they probably have more actual knowledge than supervisors would, but supervisors would have more fiscal knowledge on it. We'll see where it goes, but that's what's gonna happen here in the next month. Also had a HERDA meeting, nothing too noteworthy at that level. I think that concludes my reports. Old business, website RFP. Where are we at on that?
I sent you guys a copy yesterday afternoon of a rough draft, because I'm sure we're gonna have multiple input on that before it finalizes, and I don't know, Jen, if you had a chance to look at
Yeah.
that. It's pretty short. The actual text body is pretty short, and then there was 2 appendices that the vendors would fill out, yes or no, so making it easy as possible for them, for us to determine, you know, what services they can offer, and if it's stuff that we want. Obviously, Jen, if you have things that you feel need to be added or changed, you know, I welcome that input on that. So, you know, I don't know if you guys have anything to say now?
I glanced at it, but one thought, Jen, did you say Solutions contract runs July 1 through June 30? Is that right?
Yes.
So we're not doing anything until July 1 of 24 anyway.
Right.
I wonder if we should pump the brakes on this and just get some other things implemented. I mean, like panic buttons are one thing, and that's
Right.
coming, I know that's coming up. I think the geo permitting program that we bought some time ago, is it 10% up and running?
They're still waiting,
For the-
I followed up with this on email last week for the second time as to what's taking so long to get that payment process done. So today, tomorrow is another week, so I was gonna follow up with them again tomorrow saying, hello, what's going on here? We bought this last February. Now, I know there was an issue, an internal issue that stopped it with the old treasurer, but that was resolved and it started clicking shortly after, you know, Amanda took over, but she had a lot of catching up to do on that mess. So, but yeah, the payment processing companies had that information out for almost a month.
But I just wonder, since we can't do anything until July 1 of '24 anyway, maybe we should just pump the brakes on this until later in the fall. I'd like to get this done before we get into budget stuff in January.
Yes.
But maybe revisit this sometime in the fall.
So get caught up on other stuff.
Yeah, get some of these other
I'm
things
good with that.
dealt with,
Yeah,
and like
I'm
courthouse
okay with
behind
that.
us,
Yeah,
and just,
get this
we've
done.
got so many balls in the air right now, it's kind of nice to get something
But it
on the
might be
ground.
good, since we have the time, to kind of tweak the RFP to whatever it is we want it to be.
Okay.
And then when we are ready as a board to kind of let it, then we're ready and,
There was something I didn't like, and I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, I've just glanced at it,
We
but
can,
I've said this
just a
before, I think when
little
it comes to
Yeah.
website, it's, you know it when you see it.
right.
right.
So when we get down to some demonstrations, I think at that point in time, like, ooh, I like that. And
I'm
some-
okay with waiting a bit,
I'm fine
and we'll
with
review
waiting.
this.
I think it's good though that we start talking about it
Yeah.
and take the time
Yeah,
to
that's fine.
do it, but yeah, I'm fine with it on that.
So what is the process gonna be for the stuff that either needs to be changed or removed from the RFP?
Well, we can, if there's things you wanna change, add, or, move or tweak, I mean, we welcome your feedback as a board to do that. And then we can, since it sounds like we wanna kind of slow down on letting this,
Getting stuff done.
we can leisurely take the time to make sure that the RFP is set up the way we want it, so when we are ready to let it out to bid, it's in the format we want.
So do we
But
want
what's
to
the
take a
process?
month? Or
What's
she's
the
asking.
process?
Yeah. Do you want to wait a month and hash on this and talk about it in a month?
Sure, that's fine. Are you okay with that?
So all your changes, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that right? Is the questions, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't want,
To be, against.
I want it, yeah, I want
Yeah.
all viewing on the whole process and.
Okay, yeah. So in a month, we'll revisit it, so then we can all have what we want
And that'll
changed.
give her time to look it over.
Yes.
And make some
Really dig
recommendations.
into it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, great.
All right, sounds good. Any new business today?
I do. If one of us have emails that don't affect the others, that are kind of angry with other offices, I don't want to be included on that.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not my fight, and I don't need to know what I
I understand what you're saying, but on the other hand, I need to know what's going on too.
Well, I do, but some of it I don't.
Some of it is
It's gotten kind of mean-spirited.
Eddie?
petty,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
It's
I
very
don't
petty.
want to hear it.
Yeah. Anything that has to do with
If it's in,
the business of the county and
I'm okay with that, but
issues with that.
I don't want to know this petty,
Yeah.
mean-spirited stuff. Just can pass me over. If it's pertinent, yes, but if it's not, I don't want to see it.
All right, 23 priorities, the courthouse meeting Tuesday again.
We have a meeting.
There's a couple, there's good news on the, what do you call them, little corner things, those stuff. They felt the foundations were good on that, so that
Yes,
can get,
foundations are
moving
good.
forward. And it sounded like another big holding pattern is the sealant for the 3 porticos that haven't been redone.
We did pick it out. We,
Yeah,
I noticed that, cause I met Anne Marie on her way out, she says, yeah, the one we originally picked, we changed her mind to pick something else, I'm like,
because I had to
Okay.
melt down hissy fit. It was white,
it was not even close to,
not even close.
are they colorblind?
Well, I asked, why don't you get a bunch of women out here? I mean, and the men said, yeah, I think you should probably help. But I
Well,
was,
you know
oh,
what, no, I think there's been scientific evidence that we see color
color, it's
difference.
true. And I didn't mean it to be mean, but, and men didn't take it as personal, but it was not.
Because my point is that's kind of another holding, those are a couple big
Right.
holding points right now, that if we can get those done, things about the steps and get the finishes down there, then we can do the railings, we can do the
Yes.
sidewalks, we can do all that.
And
all
this
that
is
stuff.
moving quickly, if
It's
you
moving
notice.
pretty good, but
Pretty good now.
there's a couple sticking points there that are gonna keep us from getting things wrapped up, so sooner we get that done, the better.
Have you seen the windows in Nick's office, Nick Luza? They're gorgeous.
They haven't finished.
They are gorgeous. The stain, it's beautiful.
All right, comp plan, you have a meeting in July.
In July, yes, I'm hoping to have more significant updates for you both at that point. I don't have I did ask them for a date that they think will be done, and they could not keep it. So I'm.
Into the calendar year?
That would be very,
That would be nice.
That would be nice, I don't know. I would be happy if it's done by this year.
Really, the comp plan, that long?
I'm not saying it's gonna take that long. I've already told them I would like it to be done by the end of the year, and that apparently was, he told me that he thought that might be a little aggressive.
You just had so much of the heavy lifting done on this.
But a lot of the stuff that we did do is in this next phase. So I think this next meeting will kind of give us an idea of where we're at and how much longer we have to go. But I've already let them know that at the end of the year I want it done because I'm gonna start with my ordinances.
Okay. All right, very good. And anything on ordinance at this point? Okay.
I did have somebody reach out to me, wanting a copy of our CO2 pipeline ordinance. More counties are looking at that. Also too, I don't know if you guys are aware of the next green fad called hydrogen hubs. The governor signed an application with three other states. I think it's Nebraska and Missouri. I forget the other one. But anyway, there's $8 billion available in the latest bill, to do hydrogen hubs. And you have to sign up for that. So hydrogen hub, from what I roughly understand, is it's a way to store energy.
It's extracting the hydrogen out of.
It's extracting the hydrogen out. It requires a huge amount of water. But supposedly it's something to store energy. All the things I've read on it thus far, it's very experimental. Anything they've done some have worked, some have not worked, and then can be scaled.
And what are they gonna do with the hydrogen run?
So I need to investigate this a little bit more, but I
But you
kind
know, that's terrifying. 1% of the Earth's water is drinkable. 1%, that's all. And America owns most of
and
it.
our farmers need water.
And animals and livestock and humans. You can't, that's a resource you can't reinvent, and that's pretty frightening.
So, and then the other thing is that how you cover these. So, again, I'm just bringing it out there. I recently found out about it, and it may be our next thing to discuss once I figure out what's going on. We may not be granted part of that $8 billion, I don't know. I've already reached out to the state on that. They could not give me any information yet. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up. That'll be the next thing that we're.
Typical government,
All right.
cart
Game of whack-a-mole.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries, thank you, everyone.